Welcome back to the preview show. I'm Casey Campbell. That's Jonathan Fiel. Usual. Um, so it's been an interesting week in NASCAR. Let's before we get into the racing and all that. Well, I want to touch on two things. Actually, 3 million things. Um, there's been a lot of news. Well, the big news was last week. There's a couple things I want to touch on. We touched on a lot of them when I talked to Michael Carey last night. I want to maybe talk about it with you a little bit too. The biggest news I think is two things. Obviously, GMS going to Cup. We all knew that. Well, actually, no, we didn't. We did talk about that though. Alex Bowman signs his contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports. That shouldn't surprise anybody. What did surprise me, and I think it surprised you too, was Colleague Racing when they got the two charters. We knew that Justin Haley was going to the Cup Series. We just didn't know who it was. We know now it's going to be with Colleague, but the two charters from Spire. Kind of go through, talk about what that all means. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, if you want to do some adding, shuffling, remixing, whatever you have them, you got it with the charter system. So we'll break it down a little bit. So effectively, Spire Motorsports, they own three charters. This season, they're running their number 7 car, and they're also running number 77 car. They also leased out a charter to the number 99 Trackhouse Racing with Daniel Suarez. Well, starting next season, they're going to keep one of their charters for their number 7 car for Corey LaJoy. And then they sold two of their charters to Cal League Racing. Now you may be thinking, okay, what happens to Trackhouse Racing? Well, with that deal, Trackhouse Racing is now in search of a charter, and the team has discussed that they're thinking about buying a charter, but they may also run as an open team. Nothing's been confirmed, nothing's been officially discussed yet. So Cali Racing will be running the full-time car with Justin Haley, and they'll be running another car with AJ Allmendinger in the car, running some super speedways and road course races. Other drivers haven't been announced. They have said that they want to keep Kaz Gralla with the team. Of course, Kaz Gralla rode in one of their cars for the Daytona 500. So a lot of moving and shuffling around with the charters. GMS Racing also said that they aren't confirmed yet if they're going to do partial or full schedule. No anything confirmed as far as charters. We've heard rumblings about other teams looking for a charter. Trackhouse Racing was looking to expand to 2 cars. 2311's looking to expand to 2 cars. So there's a lot going on. Of course, you have Rick Ware Racing that owns 4 charters. Live Fast Racing Motorsports owns their charter, but obviously that discussion won't go very far because they're looking to build their team. So a lot of things going on with the charters, and it all got started with that announcement.
Okay, so yeah, speaking of Live Fast, funny thing is, before we got on, I was actually talking to Matt Tift, who's a good friend of mine, and basically, you know what he told me? Yeah, he's not selling it. It's basically what BJ said last week. They're not selling the charter. They have been asked, by a lot of people to, to talk and see who's available and all that. But it's definitely going to be interesting. But everyone's asking Rick Ware and everyone's asking Starcom to say, hey, do you have a charter available and all that? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know what happens. And then there's all this talk about the fourth manufacturer coming in and all that. I don't want to get into that. So, who knows what the fourth manufacturer is? Could be Honda. I don't want to get into that. And then there's potential of this new electric series.
New
What do you think
electric.
about that?
Yeah, so Adam Stern first reported on that there could be a possible electric series. I think it's a very smart move. NASCAR has been making some moves that are very industry focused, with the car industry going toward more electric cars. GM, Ford, each committing to more electric cars in the future, up to 50% of their fleet being electric. So I think this is a great move for NASCAR, responding to what the manufacturers want and really need. And this could be an interesting way forward for bringing. Now, this is going to be a very big sore spot for a lot of people. but bringing electric components to the Cup Series and Xfinity and trucks and other series, it could be a really good proving ground, and we'll just have to see.
Honestly, I think we're about 10, 20 years down the road from seeing, charging stations everywhere, put a charging station at your house, to charge your car. We're not, we're a ways of it, but I know people are still planning on it. And so, I mean, that's, where everything's going and stuff, but we'll have to see
Certainly.
how that all works out.
Yeah. And
But
one thing about that too is, NASCAR has been really looking to add value to the manufacturer's participation in the sport. And if you can get a manufacturer interested in the sport by saying, hey, we have this series here where you can race these cars that are similar to what you're putting down the highway and race these different electrical components that you can put on cars that are on the highway and have it be a testing ground for that. Of course, you talk about now, this is getting into automotive discussion away from NASCAR, but range and efficiency. NASCAR could become a really big ground for manufacturers to test equipment and advance the consumer industry as far as automobiles. So could be there's a lot of potential there with that.
yeah, I think yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that all plays out. But we also have to talk about what happened last week at a new track, Nashville Super Speedway. From the looks of it, it was a pretty successful weekend outside of the traffic situation. But it was apparently the remnants of Kentucky 2011 decided to show up in Nashville. Um, that's something that they're going to get fixed. It's one of the issues of first year track, and with the concessions and all that stuff, and with the open cooler, with the cooler ban and all that. Definitely going to be interesting to see from the fan experience of all that. But what we're seeing on the on track product, there's a clear cut favorite, in all. I mean, in at least the Cup Series, and we all know that if you want to win the championship, it's Kyle Larson you have to go through.
Certainly. Kyle Larson, he had a very dominating performance on Sunday, 264 of 300 laps led. Did he had led all but 36 laps in the race. He's been phenomenal. He has led I think it's something like 1426 laps for context. Last season, when Kevin Harvick had his great season of 9 wins, 20 top fives, 27 top tens, he led 1,531 laps for the whole season of 36 races. We are only 17 races into the season, and Kyle Larson has led almost as many laps as Harvick has. Dominating speed. The big question will be whether or not he can keep it up. Harvick had issues in the playoffs, some misfortune, some bad luck, didn't win the title. We'll have to see if Larson can keep up the performance. But yeah, great performance.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how it happens. But it's kind of an interesting weekend. We're going to Pocono, which is nothing new. We've been going to Pocono for a very long time. But you got to go into the Cup Series has a doubleheader. Xfinity is going to be there Sunday. Trucks are going to be there on Saturday. ARC is going to be there on Friday. There's a lot of things, and this is the only doubleheader weekend of the year. We had 3 of them last year, but partly because of COVID. But how do you think it's going to be racing at Pocono with the 550 package?
Racing with Pocono. Restarts are going to be very critical. The front stretch of Pocono is long, so it lends itself to drafting. Because as the run progresses, make no bones about it, like passing is going to get harder. So you have to make any critical passing you can right away on the restart. Using any lanes. I read that they're going to put down the traction compound for the top lane for Pocono this weekend. So you have to make your passes on the restart. You have to be aggressive, get after it on the restart. And I guess that is one good part about Pocono is the long straightaways. There's a lot of drafting, a lot of moves you can make. So yeah, passing is going to be critical on the restarts. I think we're also going to see some interesting strategies once the run does progress, getting off cycle a little bit. maybe trying some stuff. Pocono has been very good for that type of thing. Eric Almirola almost won last season at Pocono off of strategy, so you never know.
Yep. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. A couple other things, to keep your eye on, of course. Xfinity Series, couple notes there. Sam Mayer makes his Xfinity Series debut in the 8. Of course, Josh Berry has been in that car for most of the season. Actually, Josh Berry will be in the race. He'll be driving for Jordan Anderson in the 31 car. He'll also be in the 25 in the Truck Series for the Rackley War team. So, Josh Berry's one to keep an eye on. Ty Gibbs is back in the 54 for Pocono. Kyle Busch is in the truck race in the 51. Definitely going to be interesting to see. And also for Sam Hunt Racing, Santino Ferrucci is back in the Xfinity Series. So, couple fun notes there. So that's quite interesting. All right, you know what it's time for next?
It's time for the picks.
Oh,
Casey, who do you got for trucks?
Okay, let's take Kyle Busch and I'll be done with it. Okay, who you got?
Ooh, you're leaving out somebody pretty good, huh? I'm gonna pick John Hunter Nemechek.
Ooh, going 3 and okay, yeah, John Hunter's trying to go 3 and 2. This is Kyle's last truck race. So can he beat the boss at Pocono? We'll see. He's got a good shot at it. But yeah, I gotta take Kyle. Kyle's been just dominant since he's been in there. Got his 100th Xfinity win last week. He might be done. He's only got 2 more races left. He could get 102 career Xfinity wins. Who knows? He could be back, but I don't know. We'll see there. All right, let's go to Xfinity. Who you got?
For Xfinity Series, this driver, I'm still holding out on for hope that he's going to win a race because I think he's got the talent to do it. I'm going to pick Daniel Hemrick.
Okay, there you go.
Veteran gets it done at the tricky triangle.
Okay, so you're probably thinking of the pick. Who do you think I'm gonna take for Pocono?
Guy Tibbs.
No, it's not. No, not him. Not Ty Gibbs. I'm gonna take somebody that's making his Xfinity Series debut this weekend. That's right. Sam Mayer is gonna get it done this weekend at Pocono. Oh boy, and he'd be the second one to win in his Xfinity Series debut this season. I know there's been drivers that have done it. No, Ty Gibbs did it earlier this year at the Daytona Road Course. But it's going to be interesting to see what this kid can do. I know he's, I know he and Sam have been battling it out throughout the ARCA series, and it was so much fun to watch these two go at it, watching them. So I'm going to be excited to see this as well. I'm excited to see Ty and Sam in the same race in the Xfinity Series and plus you got all these other guys. You got Austin Cindric, you got Justin Haley, you got Justin Allgaier, you got Gregson, you got all these guys. I think Sam Mayer is gonna get it done. He's gonna get it done, and he's gonna get some spicy nuggets after the race. Go watch my podcast interview with him last week. All right, for the Cup Series, but it's a doubleheader, race 1 and race 2. Who you got? Let's start with race 1, and then we'll go to race 2.
Sure. So there have been 8 drivers to win 4 races in a row in the modern era of NASCAR.
Yeah.
I think with the first race, it's going to become 9. Kyle Larson gets the job done, race number 1.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to be the conventional one and just take Kyle Larson. I'm going to take somebody that hasn't won yet this year, has been super, super consistent, especially, and he got his actual first win at Pocono. Yes, sir. Denny Hamlin is going to win race 1 at Pocono. Now, for race 2, kind of disclaimer, the top 20 will be inverted. So whoever finishes 20th gets to start on the pole for Sunday's race. And whoever finished the 19th finished second and go on down. 21st through 43rd will start 21st through 40 or how many cars they have will start in that starting position for Sunday's race. So from 21st on down to the last place car, or the last car, as Beard likes to call it,
All
They will
38
start
of
their
them.
what?
38 cars.
Yeah, 38 cars. So from 21st to 38th, they'll start in their regular position. Okay, since I went with race 2, I'm going to take Kyle Larson because
Oh,
I don't know. I just maybe I don't know, maybe he has it together for race 2 and stuff, and we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, Hendrick Motorsports just been, one of the dominant teams so far in there. And of course, the big announcement this week of, Jeff Gordon leaving the, vice, and now the vice chairman, number 2 in command at Hendrick Motorsports, so leaving the Fox Sports booth. And obviously he'll continue his work with Fox until the end of the season. That new role takes part in 2022. So good stuff there. We talked about who might go in the Fox booth when I talked to Michael Carey last night. So we'll kind of go into that. But if you want to share a thought on that, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're actually inverse. We're opposite of each other because I had Denny Hamlin picked to win the second race, and I stick
Really?
Denny Hamlin's going to win the second race.
That's something. That is something. That is something for sure. So yeah, it should be a quite interesting here at the Tricky Triangle. Of course, the ARCA series will be there on Friday. If you want to catch that preview show, go on my YouTube channel. You can watch it with myself and the ARCA Menard series PR director Charlie Krall. Actually, Ty Gibbs was a second faster than second place Corey Heim in today's ARCA practice session. So yeah, he's tough to beat. And Sam Mayer, by the way, came in 5th. Actually, it was Corey Heim that came in 2nd. Chandler Smith's going to be in the ARCA race too. He came in, I think, 3rd. Nick Sanchez of Rev Racing in 4th, and then Sam in 5th. So should be a good show. Should be an interesting see how this all plays out. But as Ty Gibbs continues his dominance of the ARCA Menard series, it'll be exciting. So that race is on Friday. Trucks and Cup will be on Saturday. Sunday, Xfinity and Cup to finish out the weekend. Of course, also there's other racing going on. There's, of course, SRX. We'll be back for the SRX post-race show. I love SRX. You know that. That should be fun. And of course, we got the 6 hours at the Glen on Sunday. That should be fun as well. But anyway, that's the preview show. You know who that is, and you know who I am. And we'll be back next week to talk Road America. By the way, you might be at Road America, so
might be.
That will be fun. All right, talk to you guys next week.